Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora, and today they are back. Susan and Martin. We are on our first meeting explain for all of you about the natural numbers. What are the natural numbers and why should you care about? It's because the natural number of each person, each one have one, and it will help you to learn more about yourself. So today I have Susan and Martin with you. The first interview, we talk about their spiritual evolution. You'll get to know a little bit more about each one of them. And we also explain about each one of the numbers. The second interview, we talk about the impact of the natural number can have on the children's life when you use this knowledge to heighten their abilities and allow them to live more in accordance with what they really are capable of, to enhance their abilities and excel in what they are really meant to do here. And today we're going to extend a little bit more about how how the natural numbers impact for each one of us on the health, mean physical, spiritual, emotional health, also talents, career, and purpose, life's purpose, abundance, including financial abundance, family and relationship. Relationship, understand as relationship with yourself, a special relationship, I mean the romantic relationship with your family, relatives, and with the community. So I invite you to welcome back Susan and Martin. Let's admit them. If you have any question for Susan and Martin, just write in the chat and we'll be happy to address that later. Hello, welcome back.
Hi there.
Good to see you again, Eleonora.
Yes, it's the last time we kind of switched. We're thinking about talk about health, career, relationship, but we switch around because the universe just thought that the children were more urgent matter to talk about. So today we're gonna tap into things that are that's really matter to each one of us. And first, I'd like to learn about you. How have you guys been? What you've been up to during all those times? I think it's been about 2 months that we didn't talk.
I think we've been doing pretty well. We're at a lucky time in our lives where we can live in our house that is almost like a resort. It's got a swimming pool, it's got a jacuzzi, and so we spend our time keeping as healthy as we can.
Yes.
And learning how to do what is our favorite pastime now, which is playing pickleball. So.
Yes, and how do we apply? What do we know about how to live from our experience with Body of Nine to, continually making life better for ourselves, our family, and the world around us.
Yeah, and we've been identifying people that we meet and online. So life is pretty good right now, I have to say.
Oh, I'm happy to hear about. And just let me see if I remember. Susan is 5.
No, 6. He's 5.
Oh, he's 5 and you are 6.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
So I think let's start with relationship. I already told you guys are twin flames. For me, it's very clear. I think you guys already know about that. You are here in this lifetime to do this work together. And you can see because you guys have each other, things are just the flow. It's like you guys are a magnet to really excel on what you are doing. it's like, oh, how things can come so easily sometimes. It's because you guys are in that energy with your natural flow, aligned with your life's purpose. So when everybody get to that point, and then life's just the universe, and oh, I want this, take it. Okay, I have more for you. Oh, you're happy, you feel gratitude. So here is for you. And here we are talking to help the people to get to this point where they can just tap in their natural flow. You don't have to be constantly swimming against the currents. You can learn to go with your natural flow. So, which one you want to start talking about? The relationship,
Yep.
abundance,
Relationships is a
relationship?
good place to
Okay.
start.
Yeah,
It's like,
and natural flow. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, what for me, it started when I found out my natural number, and I began to develop my own personal practices about using my awareness of my body to be more present. And for me as a six, that means I lift and expand my chest. I take a deep breath. I let my body become more aware of the present moment through the awareness in my chest. And that practice is something I work on constantly. And that brings me back to the present moment so I don't spin out, and things that might trigger me don't take me away, even in relationships. So if Martin does something that results in me feeling upset for some reason, it hits a trigger somewhere, I know to go back to myself and do my personal physical adjustment that helps me get more present again. So it's kind of a reset. So that's, to me, that was the first and most important part of learning about the natural numbers, was finding out that, okay, with me as a six, that expansion of the chest brings me more present and lets me do the job that I do as a six. Now, that's different for each of the natural numbers. There's a different physical adjustment for each natural number.
And I
Oh,
think part of the
Susan, sorry, Martin. You
okay.
just make me realize one thing. There is people right now that's watching or going to watch later that didn't watch still yet the first and second interview. Can you just explain a little bit about what's the natural number and how you can realize, find out how that really works? You can be
Sure.
Yeah, so there are nine centers in our body. Every one of us has nine centers, three in the head, three in the upper abdomen, three in the lower core. And one of those centers is what we call active from before you're born. We call this center your natural number. And this natural number determines your reality. It determines how your body's shaped, how your face shaped, how you use your eyes, what you care about, how you process data. So your nature is very much wrapped up and guided by your natural number. So the first thing that we learned very early on was that the natural numbers don't repeat in families. So if we're talking about relationships and flow, if you don't know who you are, you can be influenced by other people, your parents, your brothers and your sisters, and they're not like you. So the best way to get to know your natural, to get into your flow, if you will, is to know who you are so that you can understand and appreciate the gift, your superpower, if you will, versus the people around you.
That's the starting point. We call it identifying your natural number, and that you can do online with us. Just get on our website, purchase that online session, and we will identify your natural number. And we also go periodically to events, which is where we met you, Eleonora, at Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles. We'll be there again next year for sure.
Oh, me
And
too.
yeah, good, excellent. I look forward to seeing you there. And we, that's the first step. And then you learn about yourself. We have the capacity as humans to learn to activate all of the centers. And when you learn to activate all the centers, it actually expands your ability to be with other people, to perceive more with your body than you do naturally with just your own natural number, and to take in more information and understand more of what's going on around you. So that's the second part of getting in the flow, is knowing first yourself, how to recover with your own body, and then how do I actually adjust to be with Martin, for example. Martin has astral number 5. His activation center is the top of the head. He balances from there. He cares about things being making sense. That the information you bring to him has to fit in his map, and when you come into try to give him new information that he doesn't think is right, that creates conflict in our relationship. If I do something that hurts his feelings, he might come back with, he might be mean to me in response, which is a normal thing to do. But the way that we have learned with each other is like, I know when I've done something like that, that if I get that response, I have to adjust me, not him adjusting him. And so you learn where your places of perpetual conflict are, and where are the places are where you make these beautiful synergies. And any two combinations, there are perpetual issues and synergies that are just naturally there.
Yeah. So we can look at any couple and talk to them about, these are going to be the easy things for you, and these are going to be the difficult things for you, and that's not going to change.
Right.
And so one of the first things that I'll point out is that there are 9, each word, each important word, like flow, has 9 different meanings. And so when you say find your flow, because natural number 9, which is you, is going to be very much aware of the flow of the universe. The rest of us aren't as attuned to the flow of the universe, but the way that we center ourselves is how some natural numbers would talk about it, or how we connect to ourselves, or how we become present. They're all different ways of expressing the same context of being you. And one of the things that we love about this is, firstly, knowing who you are makes it very much easier to be with other people. And it's a very difficult world we live in right now because of all the social media, because of all the look at me, because of all the
cultural differences.
All the cultural differences, all the good things that are going on, all the bad things that are going on, and the fact that some people see the good things as bad things and some people see the bad things as good things. So knowing who you are and what's important to you lets you be above the noise. It lets you get calm. It lets you be in the flow, as you would say. And that's the benefit of Body of 9 in relationship and for yourself.
Right. Because what it does is it helps you to learn how to activate your observer, which is this place where you can look at what's going on about you, around you, and then you can start to separate out the difference between your nature, your belief systems, and your nurture. Because those are the main, our life experience and our nurture, the belief systems we develop from this combination of our experience and our nature creates how we interact with the world. And when you can understand, okay, what part of my behavior or that person's behavior is their belief system versus what is their nature, it begins to help you to make more sense of yourself and other people. So you don't get so confused or upset or triggered by the behavior of other people. And it's very freeing when you know how to de-trigger, recenter, and move forward in relationship. That's huge.
Yeah.
You can have much more positive, beautiful relationships.
So if you want to learn more about, you can have this book. Here is available at Amazon. And you can also look at the first and second interview. I will leave the link connected to this interview. So that's a good start. I think you guys summarize very, very good. And what I understand is it's important to first get to know you. The relationship really needs to start with the relationship with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Martin, how do you see that?
Well, I think many of us have heard the phrase, you need to love yourself before you can love other people. And I think this is all wrapped up in the same thing. Nothing happens in the world without relationship. And so relationship is a joy, but it's also a method of interaction that sometimes people try to control. So knowing yourself and loving yourself lets you really understand how you can contribute to the world. And my example would be when I went to Burning Man for the first time in 2012, where Susan and I really started working together. The fun thing about Burning Man is you can be whoever you want. You don't have to use the same name. You don't have to wear the same clothes. You can act differently. And I realized after being there for a short period of time that the person I wanted to be was me, which was amazingly freeing. And we find that when people are identified and feel the truth of this in their bodies, because it's a very physical experience if we're in person, and it's actually profound even over internet, over Zoom, that settling into who I was made a huge difference because, as Susan has often said, the reason that it appeals to people is that it lets you be who you are and like who you are, even though other people may find it different because other people are different. And so knowing what is you, what is the core person of you? You know, you are the Jedi Knight. You're the person that knows and feels everything and all, and because that's who you are. I am just the explainer. I explain things and I notice things and I try and make sense of things. And Susan knows what's alive. And knowing that it is okay to be powerful and it's okay to be strong and it's okay to be quick was the gift that she gave herself by understanding who she was, just as I gave myself the gift of, okay, that is how I work. It is not unusual for me to be able to say, I know you understand that and think it's true, but I'm not sure it's actually accurate. And that's not me being difficult. It is my superpower showing up, supporting me in my life. So that's why this is important in relationship. Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't like who you are, if you don't love who you are, it's really hard to like other people.
Right. And because there are nine, this is a complicated human system. Human beings are complicated. So you have nine physiologically different kinds of people, all of whom have completely different nurtures. And so this creates this confusion out in the world of, well, how can I possibly communicate with you? I mean, how many times do we look at our loved one and say, wow, I don't understand, or I don't know how to support them in this moment. And that I have three daughters, and Martin and my mother and we all live very close together, and I know all of this, and we all know our natural numbers in our family, and everybody's known for a long time. And that really helps the dynamic and the communication in the family. And we're still learning, still learning. How do I support my natural number 8 daughter when she gets into anxiety and panic? How do I support my natural number 7 daughter when she becomes depressed and sad about the world? How do I support my natural number 2 when she is disappointed with how people are responding? Those are classic challenges for each of those natural numbers. And because I know that those are sort of their Achilles heels, I can prepare to support them and continually learn more about how to do that more effectively.
And reminding each other of each other's superpower is really important because each of us has ups and downs. Nobody has a perfect life. Nobody is happy all the time, although we like to get towards that point.
Yeah, they even, it isn't about being happy. It's about being present in your life and being willing to ride those waves without them overwhelming you.
And to me, that's happiness. So these are
Well, there we go.
the fun parts of our conversations because we've been doing this together. We've been blessed to be the right couple to take this out in the world because our superpowers meshed beautifully in the research that we've done, 10 years of research with 9,000 people. And so knowing this and being able to be so different and yet so supportive of each other has been a really powerful place to go and be.
And because, go ahead, I'm sorry, Eleonora.
That's okay. You guys point out something that's very important, that everyone is responding based on their beliefs and also their nature. And the suffering that many people is facing right now is because they have a kind of split mind. For example, their beliefs that's not, most of them they don't really agree with, has nothing, doesn't match with their natural, with their nature.
That's correct.
So constantly they feel like following things that's not in accordance with what they really are.
It is very true.
So
That when that
constantly,
group mind speak starts to happen. It's like, how do I stay strong in my gifts and who I'm offering and not just get swept by the whole system?
So that's very, very important to know yourself. When you
Mhm.
get the input of, let's say you are number seven, and then you read about all the traits of number seven, and then you can really pinpoint as, okay, that's why this doesn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes.
This is why I felt awful when I did that.
Yes.
Yes,
What I
exactly. Yeah.
really
Yes.
have to do was the consequences of doing that or not doing that. And
Yeah.
then you can have a choice to be more in alignment with yourself because you are constantly looking to other people to make you feel happy.
Right.
But actually, what you want is to treat yourself the best way that you want other people to treat you.
Mhm.
Because when you treat yourself the best way you want to be treated, you already guarantee that at least one person does. You.
You do, right? Exactly.
So that's a very win game. And guess what? We have been told that to do that is being selfish. But
It's
it's
very
not.
true.
It's
Yes.
not because a happy person is very pleasing to be around.
Very pleasing. And other people don't have to work so hard if you're taking care of yourself, right?
Exactly.
So everybody, it gets easier for everybody if I take care of me. And if you know what you want and what you need, then you know how to ask for that, which makes it so much easier for other people. You know, if I know I need something from Martin and I ask him directly, he's so much happier and he's always happy to support me if I get clear on what I need. And he only ever gets upset when I'm not clear because he can feel something that I need that I don't even know. And then he's like, well, Susan, you need this. But when we communicate and we understand the different way we approach things, it makes it so much better.
Yes, and the problem that men face with women, even when they are in a relationship, we women we are, I think we are all telepathic, even though we don't say that, but we just know. For example, between two women friends, two girlfriends, we don't need to say everything because we just know. But with men, it doesn't happen this way. And we just assume that they already know what we are thinking and what we want. Most of the time, they don't. You have to
Absolutely.
Yeah.
tell him. You have to tell him if you want something, you have to tell him. Don't assume that he already know because men's mind works in a different way. You have to tell things.
Right. And then you make that more complicated by, what their natural number is, and it's really quite different.
Yeah, and being precise is important because the words mean different things,
Hmm.
and what people need in relationship is different things. We have some friends, actually relatives of ours, a natural number two and a natural number three, and they're in the midst of the difficult parts of raising some very young children. And the interaction between the two of them has been hard because the expectation about what's important in the relationship has been missed because they're both relationship focused. And if they don't work with the relationship first, everything gets much harder.
Yeah.
Whereas Susan and I, we never look at each other, you can tell. Our relationship is based on shared experiences. When we want to be connected, we go and do things together
Right.
instead of just being together. And so, each facet of a natural number is difficult to be with until you understand it. Then it becomes fascinating and fun and great. Because if you know what your partner needs physically at the
At least
deepest level,
at the level of their nature,
yeah,
it's really helpful.
yeah, we've heard the phrase the love language. Well, those are real, and this is another another dimension of that in terms of how does the love language get fulfilled.
Yes. And what summarizing about relationship, I think it's important to get to know yourself first.
Mhm.
And at least everybody that is more close to you.
Mhm.
That will
Yeah.
be very, very beneficial. You that that is watching, go get this book and try to learn about start the people that are more close to you, your
Mhm.
husband, wife, or kids, and really start practicing.
I think it's my favorite to work with families. You know, when we get to work with a whole family, because we can explain the family dynamic just based of understanding the numbers. And then we can give people simple things that they can change and different ways that they can do things so that children are supported, that the couple is on the same page, and the whole family unit works more effectively.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Are you guys ready to go to the next topic? I think
Sure.
we'll
Absolutely.
choose health now.
Well,
So
as it turns out, what we've experienced is that many, many people have injuries or bodily problems with the area supported by their natural number. For example, natural number twos often suffer from scoliosis.
Their movement centers here in the front of the body, and they have this natural movement through the the back, through the whole middle of the body, and that we don't know if that causes a scoliosis or the scoliosis is there to support that movement. So it's very, very interesting how our bodies develop and how that affects our health. We had a natural number one friend who got tonsil cancer just recently, and one is right here in the muscles under the chin, and it was literally cancer in his one area. So it is not uncommon for people in terms of their health to develop issues. I, as a six, had a heart attack. You know, so it is not uncommon for health issues to manifest in the area of our natural number. Fours often get lower abdomen or reproductive issues. Eights get low back issues. Nines get mid back issues. And so this is very, very interesting to understand your physicality and how to protect, because you're using that part of your body a lot to stabilize. It's the fulcrum for your movement. So if you are a nine, your fulcrum point is on the spine between your shoulder blades. And so all your movement rotates around that point. So if it's not healthy, it affects your entire body. And that's true for all the natural numbers.
And by healthy, it just means you don't have to be unhealthy. You just have to not be aware that that's where all your energy is flowing through. That's where the fulcrum is. Because as soon as you can bring consciousness to that, the body sort of starts to understand and is a very powerful unconscious tool for itself. And the more that we we identify people, the more they get to be able to be themselves internally in their body as well as externally to other people.
Right. And working on just a simple thing for everybody, even if you don't know your natural number, having good body alignment is huge.
Yep.
Because your body will naturally align using your movement center in its most supported way. And I have that video on our website that I call Collapse and Lift. It's a little exercise to just, and you can do it seated or standing. So you just let your body collapse, shake it out, that shaking movement, reset things, and then just let yourself come up as tall as you can. Let your body just be as extended and lifted as you can. That naturally activates your body in its way, supported in the natural number. And then that also naturally does align us so that our body is more balanced and ready to receive the world around us.
And if you want to look, you'll replay that and you'll see that I come up from the top of my head,
And
Susan
I
raised it from the chest.
so you can
I
learn.
I've been doing that since you guys showed me the
Oh,
second, I think it was the first one.
yeah.
Yes, it's very powerful. You are stressed, you want to kick the word, just the breath, collapse, shake it off, and rise up slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
And
grounds
go
you.
on.
it's good to do anytime that you need to be grounded, anytime you want to think about how do I solve a problem or how do I get back into myself, how do I become more present.
Whatever your thing is.
Whatever your thing is, that movement will take you there
Yeah.
because your body is your best instrument.
Yes.
The other part of healthcare is the mental health. And we are fairly confident that a number of the mental diagnostics are actually related to natural numbers. We don't need to go into that too deeply, but we see some pretty good relationships, correlation not being causation, but there's some correlation between some of the DSM-5 numbers and people's natural number that we are continuing to research. So.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, the normal example is people that are diagnosed as on the spectrum, autistic spectrum, are very often either natural number fives or natural number twos that are not getting eye contact. So a natural number two that doesn't get the eye contact is completely shut off from relationships with other people. And if they've been shut down in their eye contact, they will not make relationship. Natural number fives, like me, I actually hated people. I didn't like being around people until I started doing this work. When I started, I love being around people. And we look at the body shape and head shape and things. And so far as we can tell, many people that are being diagnosed on the spectrum have natural number five.
Or two.
Or two.
Yeah, those are the two typically.
Yeah. And there's others like ADHD and other sort of.
Right. You've got hyperfocus ADHD. You've got attention deficit with too fast of a shift in the focus. So and those typically do get applied to different natural numbers specifically.
Let's give a little review on how I understand that sickness happen to us. First, we need to remember that we are not a body. We are just, our body is not alive or dead, is animated by the spirit. And that happened in somewhere between conception and before you are born. The spirit, the soul, blow the universal love and life energy to start to animate your body. And this energy will stay with you for as long as you live. When you live, that energy leaves your body. The body gets cold and hard, and that's it. You go to another experience. And all souls of our body knows what to do because it's connected to the universal love and life energy consciousness. That's God. You can call any name you want. So it knows what to do. The only thing you need to do is to allow that energy to keep flowing through your body. And sometimes you put blockages and this energy gets stuck and doesn't flow through some parts of your body. And those blockages are low vibration emotions that it comes from your emotion, that comes from your thoughts, that comes from your beliefs. So the connection with the natural number is because each one of us have a specific, say, structure and function has a center of function that's like, you can say the number, even though each one needs to get in contact with all the other numbers to get a balance. So it's normal because you are focused on that area, that when you are in alignment with what you are, when your beliefs and your natural abilities are in alignment, so that light will always flow on that area and to the rest also. But when you are not in alignment with that part, that's the center of who you are, those are the areas that you get blocked first. So, for example, the person that what's the natural number that's around the throat?
Natural number 1 is in the muscles underneath between the chin and the
I guess
throat.
that's about communication, right?
It is. It's actually
Absolutely,
they
yes.
are the best communicators in the world.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, so it's about communication. And when you do not use your communication as you're supposed to do, communicate your truth with kindness and compassion towards yourself and others, that's when you have problems in this area. For example, many people that has problem with thyroid, if they look back in their life, they always had problem with the authentic, with their authentic self. They usually will say no when they want to say yes when they want to say no. Or sometimes they're just angry all the time and they are very unkind with words towards themselves and others. So always have an imbalance in that area. So, and that's so on. That's my overview of how sickness really works. And because you know your natural number, you have okay, can you start from there?
Yeah. One way we sometimes describe it is that there are 9 radio stations in our bodies. And when your natural number is identified, you can start broadcasting more clearly and you're not broadcasting static. And that goes to exactly what you were saying, is that when you can start broadcasting clearly, it's much less power. It doesn't take external energy. There's no blockaging. It starts to become clear and open. And our experience is that when you have all 9 active in your body, it gets even easier and your ego can relax and everything gets easier. And I think people get healthier, hopefully, we believe, that but getting just your own identified is really, it's exactly what you just said, is that it undoes a blockage in communication of energy and voice and person to person, because our bodies are communicating all the time, not just with words. As you said, when people get together, then they can understand each other, they can empathize with each other, they can telepathically communicate. And that's what our bodies do all the time. But we find that people who have their natural number identified can do it better,
More easily.
more easily.
Yeah. With less confusion and misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
I
I
can
don't want you to be like me.
I can see the correlation between the natural numbers and the chakras. Very clear. For example, the natural number 1, I would associate with the throat chakra.
Yeah,
That is
absolutely.
about self-expression.
Mhm.
And I want to do some more researching about that, but we have 9, and the major chakras, they are 7. So it may get kind of merged a little bit, but I can see the correlation.
It's merged in the chest. So somewhere in the a generation of the system of 7, they missed the 3 in the chest. And if you look at the color system as we apply it, it's the rainbow colors from the bottom up, just like the chakras. So you go
Oh, yes,
red
I see.
and yellow, right? So red is the 8, orange is the 4, which is in the front, and then the 2. So it starts at the bottom, red, orange, yellow. Then in the chest, all they have in the chakra system is green. But in our system, we have green, we have blue green, and then cyan blue, which is a light bright blue. Before you go to the navy, the dark blue of the 1. And so that's it actually uses the full spectrum of the rainbow that is lost in the chakra system. The chakra system drops out those additional blue, green, and so they're the combination colors. So like orange and red, yellow and red make orange. In the head, blue and purple make indigo.
Yes.
So in the chest, we applied the same thing. If you take green and you apply the same ratio of number, for example, then you can easily figure out what the 6 should be and what the 3 should be. And that's how we came up with our colors. And we think that just got lost in the chakra system. So there's actually really three chakras at the chest.
And so the locations are co-located. So, and if you look at, we get slightly bigger system, but in the chakra system, the same places, and that's where their natural numbers are. So we're confident that there is a very close correlation between the two, although the theories behind the 7-year updates and the rest of those are different.
Yes, different. you're born with your natural number. You can learn the other eight, and that turns you into a more cosmically aware human. And then from there, you can begin to approach life from a very different perspective, which is one where your observer is active, you're conscious of what your belief systems are, and you're at choice about how you're living your life.
Yes, that's very interesting. And about the chakras, actually, we don't have only 7 chakras in our body, we have many. The reason why we focus on those 7 is because they are bigger and they have more functionality attached to them. But I'm pretty sure there is other smaller ones to have those combinations also. But we
Yeah.
just kind of make it simple and say in the chest, they have the green, and is the heart. That's also the bridge between the spiritual chakras and the more physical chakras. And I would like to show my website very quick, just because I have free Reiki guided meditations there, so people can go and align their chakras for free. And I also go there and show your website also, if people want to learn more. As your website is kind of like mine, I can see that you put a lots of information there. There is a lots of videos that people can go and really learn. It's not a website just to sell your services, but it's educational. And that's what I do with mine too. So if you want to learn about the chakras, about a lot of things, and just go there and read through my website, you're going to learn a lot. And if you wanted to start working with your chakras and balancing your chakras, align them, I have some free distant Reiki meditation that I created for anyone that's getting contact with. I did in a generic way, so I send the energy to whoever listen to it with the intention to do the exercise. So it's free. You just need to go to my website, theawakeningpath.me, and click on free distant Reiki. It goes to this page. Try for free. It doesn't ask you for absolutely anything. Now I would like to show Susan's website. Give me just a minute. There you go. Let me move this a little bit somewhere else I can see better. So as I told, it's very educational. They put a lot of information there, so you really understand what you are doing. They have a lot of services, as we were saying, about relationship, personal growth. That will be our next top. Next top, there will be career, life's purpose, parenting, workplace. So you guys can go and explore and book a session with them. Would you like to say anything about your website, any event that's coming up?
Right now, we are busy writing our 3rd book, and it's taking a lot of our time and focus and developing a new product line that's really around creating transformative teams. There's when you apply the natural numbers wisdom in a particular order, it creates a very transformative outcome. And so we're starting to look in that direction. That's not on the website yet, but in terms of what's there, we have a lot of information about understanding each of the natural numbers and about how you get identified. Start here if you're interested in finding out your natural number at the top, and explore.
Yeah.
Take a look around. When the blog posts there's a blog there as well that has a lot of information about why this is important and what you do with it. Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you. So now, are you guys ready to move to the next
Of
topic?
course.
Sure.
Um, how about we go to talents, career, life's purpose, and then we save finance and abundance for last.
Okay.
Well, in terms
The
of
talents.
talents, and I want to actually put talents and work together because one of the things that we always want to make clear is that any natural number can do pretty much any job. So we don't want to be natural numberist and say only a certain natural number should do a certain job. However, the way that each natural number is going to do a job is going to be very, very different.
Right. And somewhat predictable in
Yes.
terms of what the strengths and how those strengths will show up in different environments. So each of the natural numbers has a certain set of skills and abilities that comes with their natural number.
Yep.
And when you understand what they are, these are things you don't have to work at. So for example, for me as a 6, I am really good at knowing what's most alive. I'm really good at getting groups of people moving towards that goal. That I'm really good at synthesizing what the group wants from the energy that's present. These are skills that are just natural for me. What's not natural for me is dealing with my emotions. What is not natural for me is adjusting my pace to be aligned with the rest of the world. What is not natural for me is expanding my awareness to include more than the present space. I have to work at all those things. But when you want someone to come in and move something forward and get it done and tell you what the next steps are, there's nobody better than me because of my natural abilities.
And so, natural number one, you mentioned the communicator earlier. Natural number one is a magnificent communicator. If you have a natural one singer, you can understand every word they're singing.
They enunciate.
They enunciate so perfectly. They're really, really good at describing emotions and how they experience the fantastic grandeur of the world, where you and I may see a sunrise or a sunset and think, wow, that's an amazing example of nature. They see that example, that power, that amazing,
Wonder and awe.
thank you, wonder and awe of even in a rock or a blade of grass.
Right.
So they're really good at communicating. Natural number threes, they know what looks good. They're really good at designing things that, as do number one to some extent. But natural number threes can make amazingly beautiful websites, for example. So each of the natural numbers has its own talent that produces an outcome. When I build a website, it's going to be really, really functional. It's going to do all sorts of amazing things, but it's going to look really awful. However, if I combine with someone that makes the website look good, then we have the best of both worlds. So it's knowing what is the talent, the superpower for each natural number. As Susan said, we're working on the transformation process. Knowing where in the transformation process each pairing of natural numbers exists or sits
And what they
and
do.
what they do makes it, one, everybody else doesn't have to do the thing that that number's good at, and two, it gets for an outcome that everyone feels heard and everyone feels seen and acknowledged. Because what can happen is you get two or three people in a room, and unless you're aware of what's going on, unless you're aware of what everybody needs, you get this miscommunication.
Miscommunication.
People will leave the meeting saying, well, I had so much to say, but I didn't get a chance to say it because Martin just kept talking, something like that. I don't. But it's definitely, you know, there are 9 different ways that the world exists, and there are 9 different talents. And yes, they say 10,000 hours you can become an expert in anything, but we've all done things that we find easy, and all done things that we find really hard,
Or we don't like doing.
or we don't like doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is surprisingly dependent on your natural number.
Yes, very much so. Also, there's a natural order, and the natural order of the natural numbers is extremely powerful. But if you do it out of order, if you try to take the natural numbers that are involved in the actual implementation of something before you've worked through the planning and the design, you can't, you have to actually use the natural order of how we contribute. And when you do that, everybody's happy. Everybody feels heard. Everybody has their moment to speak. Everybody can hear the messages from the other natural numbers when it comes in the order. We were using this order to do a marketing email that we were going to send to all natural numbers. And so it had to have all of the voices in it for it to be heard by all the natural numbers. And the natural number 8 started to speak up way too early in the process. And everybody turned to her and was like, wait, hold on, hold those ideas until we get to that place. And once we got to that place, all of a sudden her tangible, make it real, get it done energy was needed and accepted by the group. So it makes talking about flow. I mean, the transformation flow is extraordinarily powerful, and that's our new thing that we're taking out into the world, because you can learn about the natural numbers by applying the flow.
Yes, that's really, really amazing. And we just have to talk about what the society is doing to us, have been doing for a long, long time. You don't really need to know your natural number back there because you guys just find out about like some years ago. But internally, our inner knowing, we all know. We all know. We
Yep.
all know what's our natural abilities tend to, and you gravitated to them through your internal guidance system.
Mm-hmm.
But what the society did to us, okay, you like to play piano. Okay, does it make money? Were you able to support yourself with that? No. Okay. Here is the list of things that make money. You need to choose one.
Mm-hmm.
You go to college for 4 years, and then you do master for at least more 2 years. 6 years being miserable, doing what you don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get a job that will pay you good, but you don't like.
Right.
Because you don't like, you don't have good interaction with anyone in that job. You are miserable, you are attracting traffic jam to you, accidents, all sorts of bad things. And you are exhausted when you get home, and then you try to play the piano for 30 minutes, you are exhausted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are depressed, you want to die.
Yep.
In the worst cases, yes. Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be this way.
No, it doesn't need to be that way.
Many people is already on that moment right now and say, okay, so now I'm doomed. No. You can start being aware of the real you right now,
Mm-hmm.
because we have been taught not to pay attention to our internal guidance system that communicated to us through our feelings and emotions and vibrations. That's what's create everything around. That is a secret that's been hidden. I'm telling you right now, you create with your emotions. You become aware, and then you see what your choices are. I'm not saying just leave that job that you hate right now today. If you feel guided to do it. But I'm not saying just do that. But first get to know yourself, what you really want to do, and understand that you have the right to live the life in alignment with your purpose. And your purpose here is not to sacrifice and work 8 hours in a job that you hate. It's
No.
no soul design a life like that.
Mm.
If you are in that, it's because you were taught wrong and you just decided to go with the flow and listen to everybody else instead of listen to your internal guidance system. And at this moment, if you are in that place, you still have problem listening to your internal guidance system, get this book, try to get to know yourself, what you are good at. And then you're going to realize, I always got fascinated with art. I actually want to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I want to paint. Start painting. Start painting just as a hobby. Just do it. You don't care. You're not worried about how much money you're gonna make it. Just do it because it's meant to be. And then say, wow, that's really good. Okay. Things will just happen when you align yourself with your natural flow of abundance. That will be the next topic. And then things will just move and everything, you'll just attract everything as a magnet to that. And if you want to know more about your life's purpose, if you want to get in contact with your higher self, with the higher part of you, I have the ability to communicate not only with my higher self, but with the higher self of anyone. So you can go to my website. There is channeling from the higher self, from any entity that you want, any being. I don't like to call entity. So I can help you with that too. And I also teach you how to do that yourself through automatic writing. But I'm not gonna go much in the subject. If you want to learn more about it, just go to the contacts, ask me any question you want about that. And would you like to say something else about the career, life's purpose, how a person can use the board of nine to understand their life's purpose?
So our mantra is don't disbelieve. Each of us has magic, as you've said, and knowing your magic that you've known about since you were a child is a way to get aligned. As you say, don't disbelieve, go be an artist, go learn the piano. We have people who have been identified and changed and left their job the next day, literally.
Mm-hmm. That has happened.
It's happened twice. But many people choose this as a step on their path of understanding themselves, because there's more to it than the body of nine, of course.
Yeah, everybody has more.
Everybody has more. And higher self, absolutely. Whatever your understanding or beliefs on contracts or magic or the rest of these things, don't disbelieve what you in your body know, because that is how you get from here to there.
And what I want to say is the wisdom that is held in our book and in our work is the wisdom of 9,000 people that we've worked with. We have physically worked with and then spoken to the people about how they experience life, what's important to them, what their values are, what they're naturally good at, how they use language, how they move. And that's the wisdom that's in the book. It's the wisdom of the 1,000 natural number ones that we talked to, and then 1,000 natural number twos, and so on. So we're not sitting here telling you that this is you. This is you telling you that this is you. Yeah. And it's a very, very deep acknowledgement and a roadmap for how do I understand and the fundamentals of who I am and begin to say, wow, I am so cool. I am the neatest, most important human being, and so are you. And we can be together because we understand how different we are and how we offer ourselves as gifts to each other instead of criticizing and making others wrong. And that is the most important, powerful part of all of this. It's like, you get to be you, I get to be me, we get to be us together.
And we can celebrate that.
And we can celebrate that.
And guess what? When you're really, really living your purpose, all those blockages will just start falling apart.
Yep.
Because you are in your natural flow, and everything will just adjusting. All the people that you're meant to interact with, to help you, and you help them, will just come to you naturally. All the resources will just come to you because the universe is abundant. And for you to get more, somebody else doesn't need to get less.
Right, exactly true.
There is enough for absolutely everyone. I just want to remind people, I think we already told, this book won a prize on the Life Conscious Expo in Los Angeles in 2024. 2025, right? Was this year.
There it is.
Join there. So it's not because it has a beautiful cover, it's because the content is really powerful. So I'm not really good in to be like a salesperson, but if I'm saying it's because I really resonate with everything that's in here.
Oh, thank
Good.
you.
Yeah.
That's great. We appreciate that.
So let's move to the next subject, that's how you get in contact with your natural flow of abundance. I think it's not by mistake that this came for last, is because you can only get there when you get everything else aligned. Or maybe you choose to be there and then everything else got aligned. But how you see that?
There are certain natural numbers that are more in touch with natural abundance, the will of the universe, than others. And the two most powerful manifestation numbers in that particular area are natural number 3 and natural number 6.
Hmm.
Natural number 3 is asking you a lot of detailed questions so that you can be clear to the universe what abundance you need. Because if I said, oh, I want a car, the universe doesn't know how to give me the abundance of a car. If someone comes to me as a natural number 3 and says, Martin, what color car do you want? How many seats do you want it to have? What kind of tires does it have? All those things, the ability to articulate the abundance that you would like for the universe to provide is a shortcut from natural number 3 to the universe. But natural number 6, Susan's natural number, she's a manifester. She raises her chest, she makes the clouds move if she needs to, but she can manifest good things and bad if she thinks bad things. But the ability to manifest abundance is built into natural number 6.
Well, it's manifestation. It's not necessarily abundance. If a 6 doesn't focus on abundance, we don't manifest abundance.
Right.
We have another book too, Eleonora. It's called Body Mind Practices for Presence. This book actually talks about the process. How do we use our understanding? So that's the ability to activate our observer, right? Know ourselves, understand our strengths and our abilities. And then you have to bring in some other skills. And those skills are courage and wonder and awe, and bringing in the beauty and the specialness of each of the natural numbers.
Wise action.
And then also clearly stating the intention, and then moving into taking those wise actions. Because if you don't take action towards what it is you're wanting to create, it's never going to happen. And it's also about recognizing when the universe drops the gifts in your lap. There's that joke about the guy who's on a roof and the water is swirling and a helicopter comes to get him and a boat comes to get him and he's like, oh, I'm waiting for God to save me. And then he's about to die because he has not accepted any of the aid around him. And then all of a sudden God says, but I sent you a boat and a helicopter. What's up, dude? So recognizing when the universe puts those things out there for you. And so it's this awareness and being a conscious life, a conscious choice that is so important. And that's how you manifest whatever it is you want to manifest. And so it's like, who am I? What am I really good at? What's my purpose? We've talked about all this part of it. Now, what is it that I'm trying to create in my life? And really getting clear about what that is. And if abundance is what you're trying to create, if wealth is what you're trying to create, you can have an abundance of wealth. If it's money, if it's love, if you want an abundance of love. For me, that's what matters, is an abundance of love in my life. And so every action that I take is about creating this abundance of love. And I'm never happier than when my family is all around me. Because the abundance of love is just flowing, flowing, flowing. And so this is, what is abundance to you is another really important question that we have to answer. What is enough? What is abundance?
Wow, that has been very, very enlightening, to say the least. What I understand with really tapping into your abundance you don't really have to know all the answers.
Mhm.
But the first thing you need to do is just bring your mind to the present moment. Because the present moment is the only moment that you create. But you contaminate, you waste that present moment when you are ruminating on the past, because when you do that, you get depressed. Or when you worry about the future, because that creates anxiety and stress. But when you are in the present moment, doing what you are doing, just being, because when you are just present, being, you are in alignment with your natural flow, with your nature that is love. And love is 500, vibration of 500. And everything that you want in your life has a similar vibration of love. The only thing you need to do for the universe that's already know what you want is for you to get you to that vibration so you can receive it. But that doesn't mean that you can never get angry. It's okay to get angry because sometimes life will through things of you, and you have to express what you're feeling. The wisdom is not to just stay there. If you can just be an observer and see, why I'm so angry? What that story, what that experience is trying to tell me. After you get clarity, you don't even need to get that clarity by yourself. You can ask God, Jesus, your higher self, whoever being you are in contact with. Give me some clarity on that. I'm not quite understanding why this came, what's the lesson in that. And if it's not clear, you can nag and say, can you please be a little more clear because I'm not getting the answer yet. But just don't let that ego mind being keeping you in fear, judgment, because fear is 100. Judgment is about 30, because 30 is guilt. So, or you are feeling guilt of yourself or you're blaming somebody when you are judging. And 30, you don't really want to be in 30. That is very close to 20, and 20 is the least that you can vibrate and keep your body alive. So I just want to, before we finish, I want to clarify one thing. I told you that your body is not alive or dead, and it's like a corpus, is animated by the spirit, but that doesn't mean that the body is not important.
Mhm.
Your body is important, should not be the center, is not who you are, but it's how you express yourself, express your soul to live this experience here. Just think of your body as a vehicle. If you treat your vehicle nicely, if you take care of it, and then you can take it to anywhere you want without any problem. You can rely on. But it's a little bit more than a vehicle, a car that you can drive through, because you can really, it's how you express yourself. So you can get to know a lot about yourself through your body, because your body is always a reflection of your mind. It's not the other way around. Your body doesn't misbehave and get sick because it's mad on you. It's just a reflection of your mind. So
I
it's
sometimes
really
talk about
fundamental.
it, Eleanor, I talk about it sometimes. This is our spacesuit that we're wearing for our trip on planet Earth. And each spacesuit is equipped a little bit differently. And you have to sort of, unfortunately, there's no manual that comes with our spacesuit except my book. That's the closest thing to a manual for your spacesuit. But once you understand how your spacesuit is equipped and how to care for it, then you can use it for maximum experience for your trip on planet Earth.
Yes. So we kind of passed 1 hour, and yesterday I have a thought, a kind of a vision, and I'm very in tune, I know, and it's guidance. And my idea was to create a children's book out of this book. And two categories, one from 0 to 5, another more elaborate until 12 years old. And that will be amazing because you can create, like, each number will be a character that can go in adventures and meet other numbers. And the universe is the limit. You can easily create like 100 books, children's book out of the knowledge that's
Good idea.
here.
Yeah.
So, and what I notice is many people right now that write high vibrational books, they have been guided to create contents for our kids and teenagers because it's needed.
Yeah.
There is a lot of garbage there that we feed our kids' mind with, and there is consequence. There is consequence of that.
Yep.
So we need to create high vibrational content that they get interested to and start learning how their mind work, how their body work, how they can really be themselves, be safe being themselves, and they understand that they are heard and all those amazing things. And Mind Sherpa is also in the same frequency. And we are creating, for example, comic books for teenagers that can even be like a comic book for teenagers. You have content here to do that. And that will be like 3 categories of books.
That'd be awesome.
For children.
We are so willing to support anybody that has that creative ability to make sure that the consistency and the messages are aligned with the reality of our experience. So one of the things that we encounter is that because when you genericize, one size fits all. So like a children's book, well, today doesn't realize that there's actually 9 physiologically different kinds of children, right? So if you don't know that, you're writing a story from your perspective for children who have your perspective, right? Or parents that have your perspective. And that's only 1/9 of the totality of perspectives. And so this is where we are here to support anybody that wants to work on something like that. Absolutely. It's like, how do we get the totality of the perspectives?
Yes, and of course, we do not expect that you guys do everything because it's physically impossible. I have to remind that myself. But, well, just think about the universe to send the person that can partner with you to do this part
Absolutely.
of the job.
I've had
Because it's really, really needed.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And that is actually a huge part of, Martin and I look at ourselves and we okay, we're in our 60s. We have a solid decade, if we're really lucky, maybe 2. And so we're looking for people who say, wow, this is really important, Susan and Martin, I want to help you. If you're out there and you see this and you're drawn, we are looking for people who have unique and special talents that want to include this in what they're doing. And so, if you are a children's book writer and you want to write children's books that actually speak to all 9 kinds of people, call us. If you're a leadership trainer and you want to integrate this understanding into your program, call us. We are looking for 5 to 10 partners right now to really do some creative creation that we aren't necessarily the right people to do.
Yes, because as I told you, there is a limit of what 2 people can do.
Yes, exactly.
And
Indeed.
we are not here to do everything by ourselves. We are here to interact with each other and combine the talents.
Mhm.
There's plenty of work to be done. Whatever you want to do, it's good with us.
Wow, that was a pleasure. Now it's 12:12 for the auspicious number.
Right.
So I think that we want to be the last time that we're going to be talking. We're going to think when the time is right after you finish your third book, maybe, or maybe before. I will get in contact to bring you guys back. Let me
Sounds good.
just see if we got any question. Let me see. No, we don't have any question. That's okay. Do you have any departure message to whoever got in contact with this video?
Yeah, I think I just already did that,
Yeah,
so we're good.
it was
Good to
great.
go.
Great to see you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
As always, Eleonora. It's always a pleasure.
The pleasure was mine. And thank you everyone for watching. That's amazing, amazing content. And you can benefit a lot from this knowledge. So just started today. Love and light to you and see you next time.